Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. I apologize, Rosie and Aaliyah, for being late. Matt is engaged in flying. He's got a few things he has to do. So he asked me to start the meeting, and he said Tom would run the show. So Tom, take it away. I'll kind of listen in and participate from time to time.
Fabulous. Thanks again, Eugene, for doing that. Commander Rosie.
Hi, I'm actually at the office.
Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble with anyone higher up. Grateful for you being here. Lair, thank you for coming in. Rich, as always, thanks, co-host. Help me move this along. This is the first time I've ever hosted a show like this, but it speaks for itself. Smokin and Jokin, stories from the fire pit. So we'll start it off, Rich. We'll start with Rosie. What do you think about? I kind of follow Matt's footsteps here. What do you think about when you think about Smokin and Jokin? What comes to your mind, and what memories can that bring?
On a surface ship, the smoke pit is the place where you find out all the gouge on the ship. I had a commanding officer who started smoking just to figure out what was going on so he could be in coveralls and just hang out. And he found out all the secrets that would happen because it was a place where people could just chill and relax on. And the smoke deck on a surface ship is where you find out everything, right? And you also get to relax. So I would always frequently talk to my smokers, because I don't smoke, to be able to find out what was going on when I was in command. I will say on a more serious note, I had a sailor who was at the smoke pit and prevented someone from committing suicide. Sounds a little dark. I know this is a kind of a relaxed environment, but he actually prevented one of my sailors from putting one of the ship lines over his neck because he was out there smoking on the smoke pit and actually saved his life. So it means a lot. I feel like it's a source of great information and trust building, and for people who don't smoke, but a place to gather and also to talk and share with other people.
Great, thanks for that. And we're kind of open format here, but first off, too, your first time on, can you please introduce yourself, a little bit of your background, so that the viewers and everybody else who participates can.
Sure, I got invited to this group. I'm in the Navy currently. Recently had command of USS Tortuga, LSD 46, which is an amphibious assault ship out of Norfolk. I've been in the Navy for close to 20 years as of next month. And I went to the U.S. Naval Academy, and I have been on 7 ships and variety of places in the Pentagon, and currently stationed at Navy Personnel Command, where I oversee the distribution of all surface warfare junior officers across the Navy. So about 6,500 people. Assignment to ships, as well as ship selection for Naval Academy. So glad to be here. I'm married to a wonderful civilian who is not in the Navy. He has a glorious beard. His name is Caleb, and we have been married for 13 years and love him to death. So that's me in a nutshell.
Fabulous. We'll go to Mike next. Mike saluted you, Marine and Army Reserve extraordinaire. You led 5 ships in MU and all that stuff. So Big Mike, can you go next? Little interview.
Yeah, how you read me?
Lima Charlie.
Oh, roger that, man. Good man. I can't get the Marine out of me. My name is Mike Aaron. I had a tragedy about 6 years ago. I was going to join the 22 right after a couple of my friends had committed suicide, but I decided to go public, and I flipped it on its head. I did what a warrior is supposed to do and attack the enemy. the enemy what happened to be my own mind. And now one thing through the process of it is I actually took notes. I recorded all of this stuff in my notebooks, and because I had read success books younger on, I knew the importance of it, but I didn't know why. About 3 years ago, I started to coagulate. I don't know, you know what the word is. Yeah, put it all together, and what came out of it was I had a transition guide for veterans. It accompanies at any level a veteran that's coming out of or trying to transition to civilian life, a step-by-step guide, and what I used and my friends had used to come back to quote-unquote civilian life. It's been for peer review. COVID kind of stopped the peer review for 2 years. And now it's going to go, I'm going to publish probably in June, late June. Then I'm going to go back on the road, and I am going to preach it from every place that I got an audience to scream. Because even the feedback I got from my peers was the key thing that catalyzed me through. I thought it maybe was just a crazy idea, but everybody that's read it said, Mike, we really, really need this, and we need you to be the front man for it. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I want to be the #1 face for vet advocacy in the country. That's my goal.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, we're going to get you there. We're getting the pieces together. Alea, can you go next, please?
I sure can. Hello, everyone. I'm Aaliyah Fitz. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served in the Gulf War era. I am a military sexual trauma survivor. So I used, unfortunately, my experience, and I turned it into something positive. So now I'm an entrepreneur. And I have 2 businesses right now. So one is I'm a pure romance consultant. So I'm a party planner, and I keep married people married and single people safe. And I teach the importance of sexual health and wellness, because a lot of people go through a lot of things, and, doctors don't sit there and take that time and talk to you. So I'm that listening ear. And all I do is I promote love, self-care and self-love, and just like to get a lot of people together at one time and just have good open dialogues. And it's all about loving yourself and loving others. You can't love other people without loving yourself first. So I used my tragedy to help other people heal from that. And I'm starting a movement because enough is enough in our military.
Absolutely, sister. We had a long talk, and I'm very grateful for you being here and connecting with the other sisters we're connecting you with.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Come back, Coach Rich Kaufman.
What's up, people? My name is Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. I don't have any cool war stories. Army guy from 23 years, but the only war that I really had was the war between my ears. And I've gone through PTSD, depression, alcoholism, homelessness, PTSD, blindness, and now came through the other side. And now we have the #8 rated veteran podcast in the world. And we are in the top 10% of all podcasts in the world. And I'm inviting everybody on this call to come on the show. That's an open invitation. I've had Mike on. I've had Mike on my live show. I've had Tom on. So you guys are next. And I just want to thank you for being there. And we need more sisters to come out and tell their stories. And that's what I specialize in, is in having the sisters in uniform come and tell their story of whatever they went through, because you guys do not need to be the silent majority anymore. And that's my goal, is to give voice to the voiceless. So thank you guys for hopping on and being a part of our group here.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you for inviting us.
My good friend, Jerry Raven. Tell us about yourself and why you're here, brother, and how did the hearing go?
17 and a half years, Air Force, medically retired. I was a Phoenix Raven with the Air Force, flying into the AORs. Been through a lot, PTSD, TBI, all 9 yards. Just after retiring, just get out and been dealing with the VA, fighting for treatment. It's been a roller coaster. I'm fighting to see my daughter right now. I actually have a hearing today at 3 o'clock. So, but yeah, just it's a fight. Every single thing is a fight. Like it's an uphill battle after you get out. That's for sure. It's not right how we're treated. Like I was, medically retired at 17 and a half years just before sanctuary, and I don't get my retirement. I try to scrape by on living on $3,000 a month, and let's just say it doesn't put you in a very good place.
Hey, quick question. Did you try to the appeal for the retirement?
Yeah, so I can, I haven't found anyone to help me with CRSC quite yet. I don't have CRSC. A lot of stuff.
All right, let's
I was basically.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting, but let's get offline after that. Well, just send me a message however you can get to me, and we'll talk about it offline, brother.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it's right. Everything's been a fight, and
I'll fight with you, brother. I'll fight with you.
There's a lot of us that are. There's so I was retired out basically under Chapter 61, so it's a certain classification. There's a couple of bills in Congress right now, HR 333. It's about to go to the Senate, but right now it looks like it's going to get absorbed into another bill, and that they're probably going to pass is to award combat veterans their retirement under 20 years, but not for only combat related injuries. So people like myself, I did get injured, but I wasn't retired out from that. It wasn't very well documented that I had a TBI. It went unreported. So I basically just, after the incident happened, got up off the pavement and ran for the C-17 that was taxiing off on me, hopped back on the plane, got back to Germany, and went back flying more missions. Kind of just grab your rifle, grab your rucksack, and keep going. And the documentation means a whole lot. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of that. So yeah, it's just a big fight. Every day is a huge fight. I've been through, the whole 9 yards with the VA. I was in mental health. They admitted me there. That they just try and shove pills down your throat and dope you up, and that doesn't work. So it's really like alternative tools that keep you going. We have a great online support through Zoom called Iggy 622. We started doing that once a week, especially with the COVID stuff. We can't meet in groups anymore and stuff like that, so we do it online.
Yeah, that's tonight, right?
Yeah, actually tonight. Yeah, tonight they got a Wednesday warrior night, they call it. So, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Jerry, where are you from?
Connecticut.
Okay.
He's right up by me. I've been seaming through the cracks with him for how long now, Jerry? 3.5 years?
Years. Yeah, it's been years.
Mike, you and I have to team up on this one.
Absolutely. I don't know if you heard me, brother, but I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight with you, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And Tom knows me. If I have to go up to a senator's office and knock on the door, I ain't afraid. We went through some stuff day before yesterday, man.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, but
I've barked up the tree of Courtney and Blumenthal and Murphy and like, you know, the famous line I get from that is, "Oh, we'll look into it." And
bull.
you know, it doesn't. Nothing happens. The military lawyers that I've spoken to are all pretty much on the same page. They're like, I've talked to 3 different ones, and so I'm not permanent in total yet. But in 2 years, I'll come up on my 10 years for my 100% rating, and they're advising me just to wait the 2 years till I become permanent in total 100%, so the VA can't wipe me down all the way to 10%, which I've seen them do. So they said wait the 2 years, then file the TBI and PTSD and go for a CRSC at that point, so they don't you know, put you out totally.
We're gonna talk offline with this. Mike and I got a team up. I've got some ammo on our people now in our state, Jerry. So I'll talk. Lynn, thanks for jumping in. Lynn, can you introduce yourself? Where you're from, what you do, and why you do it?
Yeah, I guess so. I just got back, sorry. I am Lynn Geiser. I am from the Florida area, and I represent Hope for Veterans, which I work with women veterans and their families throughout anywhere from gift cards to baby equipment to transportation and also housing. And then also, I'm also the Jacksonville Veterans Chamber of Commerce Director of Membership, so I do a lot.
Thanks for being here. And is this Donna just jumped in, Donna?
Yeah.
Can you introduce?
Yeah, my name is Donna.
Where you from?
I'm from New York, Long Island. I'm at the doctor's office, sorry. And I had a problem logging on because of the Wi-Fi. I had to get their guest account to log on because I'm in the building. But I'm from Long Island, New York. I joined several years in the reserves, and I went out to do the 3 years, 3 months, and I did 2 deployments in Iraq. And I saw you guys like about a week ago. I like what you guys doing with the Smokin and Jokin, gathering other veterans. I think it's awesome.
Hey, where on Long Island are you?
Suffolk County, Bayshore.
Excuse me?
Suffolk County, Bayshore.
Okay, how you doing? I'm from Queens.
Oh, you're from Queens, okay.
My family's out there in Deer Park and Bethpage, so.
Okay, so right now you're from Queens.
Flushing,
Oh,
Queens.
Okay.
Flushing, Queens. I served in the Navy. We'll talk offline. You do. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
Hey,
So
Tom.
Rich.
Tom,
Yes, Eugene.
you're leaving me out. I'm ex-military.
I forgot. Excuse me with that. I've had a long day of Zooms. You waiting to speak.
Right. Hey, you know what I would say, guys? It is unfortunately difficult for me to relate fully. My father served 30 years in the military. My stepmother did 25. My dad did 2 tours in Vietnam. I'm 53. I came in just before the first Gulf War started. Was initially enlisted, got an active duty ROTC scholarship, got out, went to college, and then went to Germany in 1990. But my service time was really uneventful. You know, I didn't get to, you know, I was a postal officer. I didn't see any combat. I never injured myself. My experience in the military, for the most part, was incredibly positive, you know, but I have heard the stories year after year, day after day, how veterans are treated. I just recently, as of the last 3 years, kind of said, you know, I have VA benefits. How come I'm not using the VA here in Charlotte, North Carolina? So I went to the VA for some things, and the service was fantastic. But of course, nationally, you hear some not so great stories. So I don't know. I would just continue to encourage you guys, you know, listen to Gerald or Jerry say he served 17 years and is not getting, are you not getting some kind of retirement? Aren't you supposed to get something after 15 years? Like a partial retirement?
Mm-mm. 20 years.
Well, I know
Yeah,
you have to
so
do 20, but I thought there was a partial.
no.
If you make it
so,
to 18, they normally can sunset you. And they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
medically
you get in
retire
the
you.
sanctuary and then they can't remove you. You know, they have to change your position, but they can't get you away from your retirement. But I retired with 17 and a half. So I can either collect, I basically don't get concurrent pay, which is
Correct.
your military retirement and your VA disability for compensation for injuries, which a lot of people don't understand. It's two different things. Your military retirement you earn. Your VA disability is for compensation for injuries or illness you incurred while on duty.
Right.
And so the problem's in the law, in the US law passed by Congress, and it has to do with the concurrent pay issue. They're looking to save money, basically. So, you know, there is a fight to get it back, but basically I had to waive my Air Force retirement. I did qualify for the retirement because I got to 15 years, you're correct, is the magic number to get some sort of retirement. But in order to get the VA disability, I had to waive my Air Force retirement because it was about $200 more and it was tax-free here in Connecticut. So it, but until they finish the changing of the law in the Congress, it's right at the Senate right now, and whether or not they're going to vote on it with everything going on, it's such a low priority for these people. They know it's a problem. They know what's going on. And I'll tell you what, it is part of the 22, because one of the reasons is financial difficulty. And that's a pressure switch. And when you try to make somebody live on $3,000 a month, and you put them in a vice, you put them in this, you know, you have to pay a mortgage, taxes, you know, car, gas, all the regular bills on $3,000 a month. And it's lucky I'm frugal and I know what I'm doing, but a lot of guys can't do it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And it leads to people quitting because you get no, like, I can't do anything else. I can't go work, you know, 20 hours of overtime because of my medical conditions. My body's all sorts of messed up. Tommy can tell you guys how bad it is for me. Like, just getting up and getting dressed is a miracle. And there's no way I can earn more money. I can't do it physically.
Do you qualify for SSDI yet?
I do, yeah. So that's another fight, basically. You know, because of my situation, my wife left, so she ends up getting more than half of that for child support. So it's like I get a couple $100 from that, and that's it. You know, it's
Hey, what I would say quickly, Jerry, and I don't want to really talk because I don't fully identify with everything that you guys are talking about, but we have someone on our team named Lisa Herring, if you haven't met her yet, that used to work for the Social Security
She lives in my
disability
city.
area that may be able to help you. But that's all I'm going to say. I just keep fighting the good fight, you guys, because
She
got
navigates.
many more chapters to live. And so
Yeah.
try to put whatever happened in a particular place in your brain and manage that and just keep moving forward.
Sure, and I appreciate that. I would say the major thing that you guys could do is call your congressman and support HR 333. Call your state senators, U.S. senators, and support concurrent receipt for military retirement. That's the hugest thing. That's the only thing that's going to change my circumstances. And unless we get that awareness out there, you know, it's just another one of those bills that goes on somebody's desk. And, you know, a lot of people aren't engaged in what's going on, you know, in politics or Congress or what bills come up. And, but just getting that awareness out that this is happening to our guys that are going into combat or serving, you know, under 20 years, is that we're not taking care of them. You know, here, go live on $3,000 a month. It's not right.
Have you been in contact with any of the media?
No, not really. I don't really have an avenue to get to there. So
Yes, you do. And you have 4 avenues right here on the podcast with you.
Do
Rich?
you know Katie Chorkup?
No, not familiar with her.
Okay, well, like you say, Lisa's over here and Katie's over here, and Katie fights for legislative, and she's a big fighter. She's the one that started the Sister Keeper, but she does it for all veterans.
Yeah, I've actually seen your group down in Jacksonville at the VA downtown there. They were there. I know, what's the other group down there?
There's Army Corp, there's Northeast
Wounded-
Women Veteran Center. Women
Yeah,
Wounded Warrior.
WWP was down there. I was down in Jacksonville with a girlfriend at the time. She's, retired military too, in the same boat I am. And we asked for help from multiple organizations down there in Jacksonville, and like they were just empty promises. Like
There are a few organizations, smaller organizations, that actually do the action, and we're one of them, but also Operation Barnabas is another. And Trey's part of our organization here too. Trey and Raylan now, because Raylan just took over, but we work directly with them guys too. But
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct. Wounded Warrior Project, Firewatch. We have a lot of political organizations up here that are big, but don't do as much.
don't do anything.
The
Yeah,
friendly will say.
Yeah, we called them for help after we had a fire. She's going through mental health crisis, and everything. They did nothing. Like there was just, and that's the problem. Like since I've been out, I did get into a lot of organizations, a lot of VSOs, and I found they are all about money, promoting their names, or selling T-shirts and hats, and trying to keep their building doors open and paying, their staff. And the amount of outgoing support was so little. I literally dropped off everything. I don't even belong to my American Legion anymore. That's how disillusioned I am from everything, because I'm the only one that can save to fight my battle, and me giving, support and money away to these organizations that don't follow through. It's not good. I'll tell you that.
You deal with a lot of times. It's tough because you're dealing with volunteers, and volunteers come and go. And I'm not making an excuse for them, but not having a system in place. Like when I go to speak and I say, don't help me, don't do what you got to do unless you're committed to doing it, or if you can't, you hand it off. Because American Legion will go to help a guy, and I'll say, can I have the file? And they go, we don't have a file. And I say, well, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So part of our intake, we're developing it now. Part of our intake to satisfy that is we have we're going to make a digital intake form, and that can be handed off to anybody. And if we have one of our outreach guys, they can't do it anymore, we have a copy of the file. We do the follow up at the high level.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't found one person in Connecticut capable and willing to help me with the CRSC package. Combat related specialty compensation goes directly to the headquarters of each branch. Not one person in Connecticut is knowledgeable on how I go about doing it and applying, helping me through the whole process. I need supporting documentation, I need records, and I need amendments to the records saying I was in such areas that were back when I was in. So I was in the kickoff. So 2001, when we first went into Afghanistan, and then 2003 into Iraq, when it was real combat. And I was like a ghost. My unit had no idea where I was. Headquarters had no idea where I was. I did stuff that, looking back, it's probably going to be lost. It's a lost cause, but I mean, I stay in touch with a few guys I served with, so I can get like buddy statements and stuff, but it's a huge package that has to be submitted to headquarters. And, now we're going on 20 years later, the fight to get CRSC, like I was just treated wrong all the way across the board, even from my own wing. Like, you know, during my medical retirement, they basically kicked my case to the side. I was on convalescent leave on an IV at home for 3 years. I didn't even get a call from my first sergeant, you know, like they just out of sight, out of mind. I'm on a medical list and their duty is to get me off that list so they can free up more money.
Yeah,
And
let me ask you a quick question. Have
Yeah.
you ever used or heard of AW2 program?
AW2 now.
Okay. All right. And like I said, offline, I got some leads for you. I can help you, and I have a lawyer that specializes in that in my holster. So we're gonna at least move it forward, and I promise you it'll move forward with me and Tom. Promise you. I swear it'll move forward.
Jerry, I have the support in place to support Mike, to support us. Just happened this past week. I haven't forgot about you, brother.
No, I know. It's just a long drawn out fight. And
I know.
that's what it is. It's
I know. I'm with you, and we're not leaving you.
And you know what?
It's a long battle.
Here's the similarities between your and my case. Okay, I retired on the chapter 61. Okay, and it took them 5.5 years to retire me. When I got the final paperwork to sign off on the retirement, none of my injuries were listed as combat related. Even though it was wrong, they said I got such a high rating, my lawyer at the time, that I had to take the package.
Yeah.
So now I have to go back, and like you said, recreate the paperwork, resubmit the change form to the Army. And tell the Army that these are combat related. Here's the documentation from my VA that says it's combat related. That's wrong. And then I got to go back on top of that and fight to get the CRSC.
Yeah. Same
Even though
boat.
I qualify. Yeah, it's a long drawn out process. I got a lawyer that does it. Tom's got his resources. I'm not telling you we're going to make it happen for you, brother, but I'm telling you, ask Tom. You got a pistol in your corner, bro.
So when they retired me out, I didn't even have a retirement specialist. I had a casualty assistance officer assist me through the paperwork. And meanwhile, I'm on an IV and I have all cognitive issues and I can't do a lot. And she said, oh, well, the Air Force rated you at 70%, just take it. Excuse me a minute.
Sounds familiar.
Mike's gonna drive up to your house with me. So Mike's the guy. Katrina, are you there, Katrina?
I'm here. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Katrina, can you just introduce yourself? Tell us why you do what you do and kind of background of what you're doing now.
I'm retired medically. I had a spinal injury in the shop, but of course I got hit on the head so hard it broke my back, but because it was in the 90s, you just shake it off. And so it didn't get reported. Just kept getting worse and worse. And I was all Army powerlifting, 250 pounds. And a year later, I'm being marked unfit because I couldn't lift 5 pounds. And they said it was natural progression. So I fought them for a decade. And they finally gave me, they didn't believe it. They just said it was all psych. So I got 70%. Finally, they retired me on psych and they've never touched the spinal stuff. So finally got it sorted in 2011 and I've been on the full ride since 08. Now I'm trying to go back and get acknowledgement. I'm at 90% right now with IU and trying to get the spinal stuff in there because I'd like to be fully retired so that I could have the option to make some money.
How long you've been 100%?
I got PNT and IU back in, a permanent and total at 90%. So I'm neither permanent nor total, but 90% was granted in 08.
Okay,
So
it's just
it's
because the safety mechanism, 5 to 10 years thing.
Yeah, so I'm over 10.
SSDI?
Yeah, I'm on the full ride.
Nice.
And I actually got a good, this year, literally just this year. Now I've been going to the VA every week for the last 20 years. This year I got a good, awesome physiatrist and they gave me a spinal and injection and stuff. So I'm not in excruciating pain all the time. It's like, wow, you guys had this all along. We knew in 2001 I had a neck injury, come home to roost. They knew it in 2013 that I fought for the longest time. Like for 6 years, I tried to get into polytrauma and they wouldn't do it. So I went to Boston and they got me in the same day. And they're like, oh, it took x-rays, you got a broken back. Oh, wow. So,
Wow.
but they got me into occupational therapy, but because I was in so much pain from the old neck injury. Now, basically what happened at the top, my skull got jammed in. And in 2011, I figured out all that through research, got a guy to unjam it, just the manipulation, craniosacral, just like a chiropractor for your skull. It was out around and causing all that was hydraulic downforce kept pushing my hip out. And, so I had to figure it all out myself and then go up there. And in 2013, they're like, you're too far gone. You should have come in sooner. I'm like, I've been trying for 17 years to get in here. So don't even start with me. And so, and then now 8 years later, they're like, oh, I said, do they not have a nerve blocker? Because I don't have the neck injury anymore. I don't have the skull. This is all residual secondary stuff. And so they're like, yeah, we can do that. And they did a EMG on my arms and because I got major wrist pain and I can't lift them without major problems. And so it's just, yeah, they did that. They did an MRI and they're like, well, it looks like you have an old neck injury. I said, yeah, 93. And then it got compounded in 95. I'm glad you're saying everything I've been saying to you. So now I'm hearing it back. I'm like, write that shit down, would you? So.
I know. They can't find the records from 3 years ago.
You guys have me worried when I transition out. What's going to happen to me?
I could tell. Well, like you say, you have your sisters and brothers now. I mean,
document. Every person you talk to, what the nature of the conversation, any action items, any directives.
All your records.
Make copies, make 5 copies and 3 different forms of media. So if computers go to hell, you'll still have a copy.
Katrina, can you tell everyone how we met and what wonderful programs you've been involved since?
Oh, geez, I'm trying to remember. Was it the camp, base camp?
Well, base camp initially, but we worked together with the equine therapy with Dave.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, through the equine horse feathers.
Horse feathers, and you're doing the racing and the
race cars for a cause. So if anybody wants to jump in a really fast car, we didn't do last year. Post COVID, we're gonna be on the track 2 or 3 times a year.
Where do I have to go? I'm from Daytona area, kind of.
Oh, we're up north, sorry.
You guys are up north, I'm hearing, even though I used to be from Wisconsin.
Oh, Connecticut. No, that's out west. Wisconsin.
Yeah. No, I'm in Florida, guys. It's nice and warm down here.
Yeah. There's one up in, they go, one that Tom knows goes to Georgia.
Yeah, Rich and I know all the race car teams now and all the veteran started race car teams and
Racing for Heroes. Check out Racing for Heroes.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we got another event coming up with rally cars to the woods coming up, right, Tom?
Yes, in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, we're broadcasting it 4 different ways. It's a national rally racing, but this is Northeast Pennsylvania that's racing, and I've taken over as coordinator of the event ground because the coordinator actually races, and he's an Air Force vet, B-52 pilot. Rehabilitated himself from a major stroke off-road racing at high speeds. And he builds crews and vehicles from the ground up, PTSD rehabilitation. And no one's recuperated from a stress like this guy, a stroke from this guy, because his doctor said it's all been documented. Crazy stuff, but it works. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Joshua, are you willing to talk or introduce yourself or come on?
Oh.
Matt, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
I'm actually at work. I'm busy sorting pallets. I'm just kind of listening in on the background. I can definitely get on a call later this afternoon, though.
Well, absolutely. My email's there. Reach out. Interested in what you had to text there. Thanks for being on.
Of course.
Sorting pallets and working. Know all about that.
Yep.
Matt, are you on there live? Or are you just listening, or is that Eugene just sitting dormant? If not, Rosie, so can you give us a little input? Because I'm enlisted. I don't think there's other officers other than Eugene on this call. What actually goes on in your mind on the bridge there when you're running a mute, or out on a task force like that, and you got all your people under you? What goes on in your mind?
It's great to be in charge. You're the head mother woman in charge. I mean, and I think my experience was, if you were competent, the Marines had to trust you to carry them from shore to shore. And I was the operations officer on a deployment that went to Haiti. We had gone with them on a deployment in 2009, came back in December from 7 months overseas. We went to Fifth Fleet, Bahrain, Egypt, Greece, a whole lot of places with the MEU. We had 425 Marines on the LSD. I was the OPSO lieutenant at the time. And then I got a call that we were the ready duty amphibious ready group when the earthquake hit in 2010. So we had 36 hours to recall everybody back to the ship. We had people showing up on the pier. They said they got turned away from the other ship. Could they come to our ship? We were writing their name down, putting them anywhere we could. The Seabees came with us with their underwater construction battalion gear, and we left at 2200 out of Little Creek to head down to Camp Lejeune to pick up the remaining Marines. All night across the beach with all their vehicles, all their stuff. And we showed up in Haiti that following Monday morning. And I was there for about 78 days. I will tell you that was probably one of the most exciting things, was actually responding to humanitarian assistance, disaster relief firsthand. We established all the beaches there and put the Marines ashore, and then started figuring out where all the people that needed to be rescued, because we had a level 1 trauma aboard the ship, and we had embarked a whole bunch of medical doctors. The amphibious assault ship platform that I've been on has level 1 capability, which means if we have a Marine that is injured or needs to come back, we can provide interim surgical capabilities to them before we send them off to somewhere like Landstuhl, or, if we're deployed, or somewhere, back to the States. So it was a very exciting time for me, being able to plan everything. And I will tell you that everybody got to go ashore. And one day I was the only one left on the ship because I was planning everything. So one of the Marines and the quartermasters came up with a plan that I was going to be able to get to leave. So I filled in my AOPS, and I jumped in the landing craft utility, which is like this wooden hulled Marine vehicle. And we had the armor tanks in there. He let me pull it out of the well deck, and I got to drive it out of the ship and back end of the well deck of the ship. So the ship comes down, it floods with water, and then the Marine landing craft utility will come up, and then you just basically back it out, and then you drive it up onto the shore, and then you put the ramp down and all the vehicles come out. Mm-hmm. I got to leave, but I didn't tell my CO. So I found it's better to beg forgiveness than ask for permission, even when you're an LCU, because he wouldn't let me leave. I had asked for permission all along, and I was like, well, the only way I'm going to get to leave. So basically I promised the Marine that was watching me leave that I would bring back some skull from the big deck. So I promised him in skull currency that I would bring him back some things if he would keep his mouth shut. And cracked him a little bit. I was like, I will return with the goods if you will not let anyone, you just let them know that you've seen me around the well deck, and that's all the captain needs to know. So I had read in the AOPS who happened to be up on the bridge, and the thing that got me in trouble was he heard my name on the bridge to bridge radio. There was like a handheld, and my captain, we were anchored about 2 miles off the shore of Haiti, and he goes, is that ops? And TJ just walks over to the radio and he just turns the volume real low and then off. And he's like, oh no, sir, I think she was just calling up here from, her stateroom. So there was like all these sightings of me all over. I was gone for 3 hours, but I came back, and I will tell you that experience changed my life. I think that was the turning point where we realized all of the crush victims, all of the people we helped, all of the restoration that we provided, made me really want to stay in the Navy and go to command. And I never thought, like, starting out, I'm youngest of 7 kids. So I joined the Navy for education. And if I was going to go to college, it was through a scholarship, because my parents, I was born in the Bronx. I was raised in Jersey. So I'm originally from that area.
Woo, Jersey girl.
Yep, Kearney, New Jersey is where we moved from the Bronx when I was 5, and then I spent every summer out in Long Island. We were out in the Ronkonkoma area, exit 63 off the LIE, for those who know the area. And so Calverton, New York is where I spent every summer, growing up. But I'll tell you that the bond I had with Marines, the thing about service that connects you is, you've got people that want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And there's a true love of people that are in the service that connect you. Even if you haven't known them for very long, there's an underlying bond that kind of brings everybody together. That's why I like listening to all the stories and experiences, because it really kind of deeply impacts me, right? Like, it builds your empathetic and really getting to know people and knowing what is making them tick. And when I left, I did another deployment with the 22nd MEU, and then I got to ride in an MV-22, and the colonel of the MEU, and if I'm talking too long, just cut me off. I got a lot of
we got a couple of minutes or whatever to wrap up. I'm gonna have Rich close this out. So just finish your thought, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, when the front door of an MV-22 is jammed and you're 5'3", you end up doing an aerobatic leap from somebody's hand that's trying to push you and kind of propel you in there, and you kind of land flat on your face, and you show up at the front of the plane going, hi, and they're looking at me like, who is this Navy woman? And I'm going, I'm here, I've arrived. And I just tell you, the inexplicable bond is just the thing that I really think that's what kept me in the Navy 20 years. And I've really enjoyed my time, and I really want to be able to know what I can do as a currently serving person, where I can continue to have impact, and as I get to higher levels of influence, to be able to leverage that influence. So if you want to send thoughts, or I'd be happy to talk to more of you offline or again, but it's an honor to be on here, and I just really appreciate you putting this together, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, we'll be in touch, and I hope you can come on more often. Rich, can you close us out with something, a little word of wisdom?
Yeah, first of all, like I said, I'm inviting every one of you guys to come on the show, because now I'm having a weekly spot called A Soldier Story, and we're going to be talking about all this stuff that people are going through. So the last thing I just want to say is I want to thank all of you guys. This is my favorite time of the week, my favorite hour of the week. But I also want to make this, I'm just going to throw this out there if Tom's okay with it. When we were in the military, we were either in a squadron, a platoon, we held each other accountable. So I want to know what you guys are going to do in the next week to improve your life, that we can hold you accountable for on this call for next week.
Finish my paperwork.
Excellent. I just want to repeat what you said, Rich. This is our show. We'll do what the F we want.
Exactly.
Eugene, can you close us out? You have anything to say? Convene, co-host in this that you're throwing in, you have anything to say? I'm sorry I left you out before, but I.
No, we're okay. The only thing I would say is just keep inviting people to any of the platforms, whether that's Richard's or Lynn's or anybody's, that will help make a difference. I get what you guys are saying. It's just a whole different animal for me, and we have to make some changes. So like to Richard's point, do something this week that will help. I think what I'll do is check into that bill to figure out, is that the Senate that has to approve that, or is that the Congress? Because the Democrats, they have the House, the Senate, and
That would be
the Congress. They
that
have
would
all
be-
three: the House, the Senate.
that
What am
would
I
be
missing?
Katie Torgup. She's all about that. I mean, if whoever knows that lady. Oh, she started that Sister Keepers, and she was national. So she does a lot of the legislative. She's also part of the director for a Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Also, she does legislative there. So very, very high into that. So I wanted to just, if there's anything we can help with that.
Yeah, changes certainly have to be made, but you keep fighting a good fight, you guys. I
Much better
always
they
say,
said that.
life's full of many, many chapters, and every year is another chapter, and you have an opportunity to kind of change the narrative, and just keep going and keep showing up, and hopefully we'll see all you guys here next week. I'm sure Matt will be back.
Did you have something to say, Kat?
Oh, I just said, there's lots of changes. They stopped calling and asking for my dad. When the VA calls me, is your father there? Where's your father? Like, I'm the vet.
That's a good start.
Although they do still say sir when they see me, but that's because I wear butch clothes.
Oh, I got Mr. Tank out of mine when I first had my maiden name.
Yep.
So we have Convene here, which military community leader. Eugene's a community leader on here. We have the tool, the platform, and we're building it out. And I hope you all come back here soon and stay connected. We'll take care of everything. And Jerry, is still here? If not, we'll follow up with him. Thanks all, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. See you
Thanks, guys.
soon.
Take care.
Thank you.